Hey there, Jim Johnson for AccentHelp here. I want to talk a little bit more about the soft palate, or the velum. So the soft palate is the back part of the roof of your mouth. It's the muscular part that's mobile, so it's movable. The front part is the bony part that's not movable. So this movable one, it can be open for nasalized sounds, like nasal consonants, and it tends to be closed or lifted when something is purely oral, like f, v, z, sh, for example. Now, it can be open a little bit for vowels. So, for example, in the word man, it can be a nasalized a, or it could be purely oral. Man. When I plug and unplug and it doesn't change, it's purely oral. So it can be nasalized, or it can be purely oral, right? One of the ways to try to make something more likely to be purely oral, or a way to get your soft palate to lift and be more responsive, to dome even more, which does have an effect on the tone of your sound, you can do some tricks actually on your body, what I call cheats. So they're ways that you will make your soft palate more likely to lift and more likely to dome and create a varied tone in your sound. One of those ways is just by energizing a little bit more. In general, when people are lower energy, their soft palates tend to drop. So if you think about low energy versus high energy will tend to get the soft palate lifted. So something as simple as standing and leaning your weight forward onto your toes, as opposed to being on your heels, will make you more likely to have your soft palate lift and dome. Another thing that you can do is if you go into a smile, you'll be more likely to lift your soft palate. Some of the muscles that are attached to your smiling muscles attach to your velum and lift it, your soft palate, so that it actually will be more willing to dome through a smile, or something that's like a half yawn, or what I like to call a lion's roar smile. That will tend to lift the soft palate and dome it a great deal. Another thing that, oddly enough, will tend to lift the soft palate is if you open your eyeballs even more. And it's not just about lifting your eyebrows, but actually opening your eyeballs even more. So it's what I call crazy eyes. So if you go into crazy eyes, not only will people leave you alone on the street, but you'll also tend to lift your soft palate more than what you might be used to. Now this is a little awkward for going on stage, right? So you can't exactly make use of that all the time. But it's something that you can use as a cheat to feel what that's like, to have your soft palate really lift. And if you can start to get used to that feeling of it while doing something bizarre, one of these cheats, then you can start to ease off of that, or imagine that smile or the slightly more opened eyes happening just behind your eyes, or just imagining that it's happening. Then perhaps you'll actually energize into your soft palate more and make it more likely to lift, closing off that nasal space so that something becomes purely oral. And even if it's already lifted, you'll make it more likely to dome even more, so that it's sort of a parachute billowing upwards, which is going to change the tone of your sound. There can be a flatter tone of sound through a flattening of the soft palate, or you can take that tone and you can round that tone by lifting the soft palate and doming it even more. It's really hard to do one thing at a time, so odds are that when I was lifting the soft palate, I was also actually retracting my throat, so it's a more open space, which changes the tone as well. But usually that's a darned helpful thing to have happening in your sound anyway. So if that's your side effect, it's a pretty good side effect to have. So that's a little bit of insight into how to get your soft palate to lift.